How is it going, everybody? My name is JustJarrod, but you guys can just call me Jared. Welcome back to another No Man's Sky video. Now this one, I'm not standing up and recording. I'm chilling, sitting down because there's some information. I just want to talk to you guys about it and kind of relax and get into everything as how it is instead of going super speculative heavily into this. That was grammatically incorrect, but hey. Waking Titan, if you haven't heard, I'm getting to this news a bit late because Element 4 released and I was at work, so I had to wait 9 hours to get off work to actually catch up on all the news. So you'll be seeing this a bit late from me. Everybody else has basically covered this news, but I have something that not everybody has realized, which is cool. This is the first time I actually sat down and really looked in depth to what we got and kind of did a bit of experimentation, which I thought was pretty cool, and had a good time with it, honestly. So we're going to talk about that. So, if you don't already know, Waking Titan released Element 4 after the Boston live drop, and we got an audio clip. So the first three were holograms: the exosuit player model, the ringed planets, and the multi-cruise ship is, I guess, what we're calling it. This time, they surprised us, and a day early, we got a 3-minute audio clip of somebody booting up No Man's Sky and starting a new save, initializing, and then running around with a few other people, as far as we can tell. Now, I'm going to play this audio clip for you in a few seconds, but first off, know that the beginning of the audio clip, the initialization, all the background effects, the noise, every single thing is exactly the same as how it is in No Man's Sky right now. Every single thing is exactly the same. Now this is where my experimentation comes in. Now I thought the audio clip in the beginning sounded fantastic and super new, but all of it is exactly the same. I went on No Man's Sky and booted up a new save, turned the music all the way down and the sound effects up to 100, blasted my headphones, and yeah, recorded it. And then downloaded the new audio clip, put them on top of each other, leveled the audio so they were the same, and saved it for you guys. So you guys can hear the entire beginning. I'll play for you right now. You're gonna hear the words are like a second or like a few milliseconds off. That way you know that there are two clips there. And then you can tell that the entire beginning is exactly the same. There were some things I thought were different. In the new audio clip, you can hear what sounds like either the Atlas pulsing noise or a heartbeat that is in the game right now as well, which is surprising. I never knew that was there. Never had the sound effects audio, I guess, all the way that high up. You should try playing with the sound effects like super high and blasted. There's a lot of things that I never knew were there that are. So here's the beginning clip of that initialization process, just so you know that it is exactly the same as what we have now.
Connecting Atlas system suit initialization. Life support systems activated. Shield kinetic system online. Scanner damaged. Repair required. Aerial propulsion jetpack online. Multi-tool mining laser attachment operational. User initialization sequence complete.
So the only thing that may be different is the music. In the clip that I recorded, there was no music, so the music you are hearing or were hearing is music from the new Waking Titan clip that we got, and I'm not sure if that is new music or not, because usually when you start a No Man's Sky save, you get a No Man's Sky track. You don't get the procedural music, you get an actual track. I might be wrong about that, but I am not sure I've heard this kind of music from the audio clip that we got in the game before, so that might be confirming new music. Anyways, we do get a lot more, so I'm going to play the rest of the audio clip for you guys, and I'm not going to play any background images or any background gameplay. That way you can just immerse and listen without being distracted with what's on screen. If you have headphones, I recommend using them, turning your volume all the way up, unless my volume on my video is super loud. Then don't do that, don't blow out your eardrums. But definitely immerse yourself, listen to the sounds. The creature sounds are vastly different. There's multiple people, multiple footsteps, so just listen in. It's really good. Everything beyond here is new or relatively different. Here you go.
Radiation protection falling.
So first off, multiple footsteps. There are definitely multiple people playing, and this is multiplayer. You know, there's no doubt about it. We definitely hear multiple footsteps. Definitely new creature sounds, which is, you know, I have to say, two of my favorite things in video games: audio and lighting, and the audio for this is so stunning. This almost sounds like the audio from E3 trailers as far as creatures go. The frequencies are all over the place instead of all high-pitched, or a lot of them are high-pitched in No Man's Sky right now. You can kind of hear what sounds like insects, whether or not that's a thing, who knows, but it does sound like that. You hear creatures running through the grass, and it sounds amazing. The environment sounds, everything sounds very, very, very good and crisp, which is awesome. New creature sounds is great. It's something we need, something we desperately need. And if they're working on new creature sounds, you best believe that they're working on new visuals as well, or new creature visuals, or, you know, more procedural generation variation when it comes to creatures. There's definitely something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. But I do believe that this update will change and update a lot of No Man's Sky, and we'll talk about that a little at the end of the video. Moving on, you hear more footsteps and players running around. I'm not sure how many players there are, but there's definitely more than one. And then you hear the multi-tools, boltcasters, the mining lasers. You hear a boltcaster on the right, and then you hear a mining laser that pans from the left to the right. So you automatically know, there again, confirmation, this is more people, more than just one. Because you obviously can't be shooting two multi-tools from two different directions. You can obviously hear, if you're definitely wearing headphones, you can hear the direction that these things are being fired in, where people are running around you. You can definitely hear it with headphones. Now there's a lot more multi-tool sounds. There sounds like somebody reloading, and it sounds like there's an actual magazine. It sounds like there's a clip. It just sounds a lot better, a lot cleaner. This might be confirming more customization or like attachments with multi-tools rather than what we have now. So that's something, I guess, to look into. I'm not going to spend so much time on that. And the last thing, at the end, the very, very end of this audio clip, I'll play it for you guys again in a second after I tell you what it may or may not be. It sounds like a it sounds like a creaking noise. And this could be one of two things in my mind. I'm leaning more towards one rather than the other after thinking about it for a bit. It could be a Geiger counter. And I'll let you guys listen to it right now. A Geiger counter, or a tree creaking as if it's blowing. Listen. Now, L Plays, if you haven't checked out his video, I recommend checking it out. It's down in the description. I'll leave a link to his channel and all that. Makes a good point, and he brought up the Geiger counter. He's at least the first person I saw bring up Geiger counter. I'm leaning more towards Geiger counter than the tree swaying, because if you are listening with headphones, like I said before, you can hear the direction the noise is coming from. With this sound, it's all over. It's not just one direction or the other. It's not just the left, not just the right. It's all around you, which makes me think it's coming from your suit or from your player, so Geiger counter would make sense. Plus, they are on a radiation planet. In the beginning of the audio, you hear radiation levels decreasing or radiation protection decreasing. So it kind of makes sense to be a Geiger counter rather than a tree swaying. Now, I said tree swaying because it does sound like that, but also when Sean Murray was on Inside Xbox and they were doing the interview for No Man's Sky Next, in the background, you guys all know, we saw gameplay, the trees were moving, they were swaying. People talked about, hey, we might be getting swaying trees. Totally a possibility still. So that's why I was kind of thinking about the creaking of trees. But since the audio is all around you and not just to the left or the right, I think it's more, it's a greater chance that it's a Geiger counter. What a Geiger counter is going to do in game, I don't know. We already have a radiation counter always down bottom left of the screen. There's always a count of how many rads there are, even if you're not on a radiation planet. Not sure if it's gonna have, you know, some survival things going on there. Who knows? But it does. This kind of goes into my next topic, is if they're working on small things like that, like a Geiger counter, if they're working on small things like footstep sounds and, you know, footsteps against different terrain, if they're working on these small things, then you've got to expect tons more. You've got to expect tons more. And I think almost everybody who has been around No Man's Sky for this long knows that No Man's Sky Next is more than just a multiplayer update. We all are the general community together theorizes that we are going to be getting tons of this update. Whether or not it's going to be an overhaul to everything, I think it's more or less just going to be an update to everything. I don't think it's going to be an overhaul. Overhaul is a pretty big word in gaming industry. Like Rayrod's mod is the overhaul mod that changes tons visually with No Man's Sky. I think No Man's Sky Next will be an update to everything. They are showcasing multiplayer a lot, and I think they're doing this because that is the main thing that will drive new people to purchase the game, and Xbox players to purchase the game. But you've got to understand that No Man's Sky has 4 pillars, you know, 4 kinds of people that play. There's fighters, traders, explorers, you know, surviving. They have to update every aspect of that for every player, you know, because not everybody likes fighting. Not everybody likes trading. I just explore. So they have to update something for those explorers. They have to update something for those survivors, update something for the traders. Not just, boom, multiplayer, that's it. This will be an update that will update everything in some way, some shape, some fashion. It will be updated. So we are now seeing the audio updates to the game. I think with audio comes visual updates. I think we definitely will be getting visual updates because now we know we are getting audio updates. We know that they're working on small things like possibly a Geiger counter. We know that they're working on small things like terrain footsteps, like it sounds like people are walking in snow, which we don't have now. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we are getting with No Man's Sky. If we are getting these just super minimalistic things, there is tons more that we don't even know about yet that we can expect, or we will be surprised by when No Man's Sky Next releases. So that's just kind of a tangent that I took. We do have one more thing to talk about that actually revolves around this audio clip, and that is something that I'm not really sure how to take. Okay, so after the initialization process completes in this audio clip, after the whole thing completes and people start walking around, you hear the footsteps, 14 seconds after steps are taken, you get the message from your exosuit that says radiation protection decreasing, or radiation protection low, whatever it is that it says. It's 14 seconds in. You don't get that message in No Man's Sky until your radiation protection is 50%. 50%, you don't get that. Now, when No Man's Sky launched originally, your exosuit, your suit would notify you every 25%. And they lowered that because it was annoying. You know, it was all the time. And they lowered it to 50%. 14 seconds in, that was 50% down. If you jump into normal mode and start a save, and you start on a radiated planet, which I did at first, it takes a long time for you to get to 50% for that notification to go off. If you jump into survival mode and you end up on a planet, cold, whatever, radiated, it takes a longer time than 14 seconds to get to 50% to get that notification. I tested it out. It's to the point where I stopped counting because it's way longer than 14 seconds. Does this confirm that the difficulty is in fact harder, or it is harder to survive when you're in multiplayer? I'm not sure, because you can tell they're starting new, because you get the whole initialization, you get the whole suit booting up and having to repair everything, so they don't have any other upgrades on, and it takes 14 seconds. 14 seconds for it to hit 50% if it's still the same. Unless it went back and 75%, you get the notification. But still, in survival mode, after 14 seconds, your protection isn't at 75% yet. So I'm thinking this 70% confirms that the difficulty of survival in multiplayer is increased, and it is, you know, harder to survive than normal mode. Possibly harder than survival mode. I think it should be harder than survival mode, because you have up to 4 people. People survive survival mode with one person, you know, by themselves. I'm doing that currently in my save. So I think it should be harder than survival mode. That way it makes sense, right? You're helping each other survive. If there is PvP, it would make sense, because you need what they have to survive. Rather than it being normal and you don't need anything to survive, you can just walk around it for ages and no care in the world. Same with creative, obviously. But survival you actually need to try. But 14 seconds is crazy. That's crazy short. So I'm thinking, I'm about 70-75% that this confirms that it's a harder difficulty, harder to survive for sure in No Man's Sky Next. So those are my thoughts. I haven't seen anybody talk about that, so I wanted to bring that up. Also, the whole beginning audio being exactly the same. I thought it was really cool to actually test that out and get in game and, you know, mess with it. So I apologize if this video is a bit longer. I just wanted to sit down and really talk to you guys instead of my usual format where I'm up and, you know, jumping around and pacing around my room and talking. There was a lot of information that I wanted to really sit down and give to you guys straight on without super heavily speculating about the beginning and all this stuff. It is the same. It is exactly the same. Try it out yourself. It's exactly the same. But anyway, not to rain on anybody's parade or anything that didn't think it was the same or whatnot, but the creature sounds definitely different, and all the other stuff definitely different, and it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the difficulty. I'm kind of convinced on my theory. Definitely kind of convinced for sure. Let me know what you guys think about all the audio in general. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up for me. That would be awesome. Subscribe for more No Man's Sky news, gameplay coverage, all that stuff. You guys know I've been here for a while. We've been doing it for a while. I also have updated my Patreon page. If you would like to check out my Patreon page, it's got rewards on there. Stuff about naming my videos and things like that. And if you're a patron, it's cool stuff. Cool stuff. I also have merch that I've created, have shirts, have mugs. All the links to that stuff will be in the description, but don't worry about it if you're not into it. Just you guys watching the videos, commenting for sure is awesome. The interaction on this channel is fantastic compared to a lot of channels, a lot of people who cover No Man's Sky. The comments, interaction, all of it is great, so don't worry about going and buying a shirt or something like that. Don't worry about it. It's there if you want to, but if you don't, I don't hate you, obviously. I've been here for forever. So thank you guys for watching, like I said, and until next time, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace out.